The BRICS group is certainly not an anti-American organization, and there is absolutely nothing within the comprehensive BRICS agenda. This is what we are calling on the American side to do. But the language of threats, the language of manipulation, if you will, regarding what is happening or not happening, including within the BRICS platform, is not the kind of language that should be used when speaking with members of this association. The widespread interest in BRICS among such a broad audience speaks volumes. It serves as the best confirmation that BRICS already rightfully holds a place among the key centers of global governance. And the voice of our countries in support of the fundamental interests of the global majority is being heard more and more clearly on the international stage every year. We share the optimism of President Lula of Brazil regarding BRICS' ability to help create a new paradise for everyone. That is a quote. The leaders of the BRICS countries strongly condemn the military strikes by Israel and the United States against Iran since the 13th of June and express concern over deliberate attacks on civilian infrastructure as well as peaceful nuclear facilities in violation of international law, the UN Charter, and IAEA resolutions. Regarding the situation around the Gaza Strip, the BRICS countries reaffirmed their readiness to continue efforts aimed at achieving an immediate ceasefire, accelerating the delivery of humanitarian aid, and attaining a lasting and sustainable peace in the region. The attacks on railways and bridges in the Kursk, Bryansk, and Voronezh regions in May-June of this year, which resulted in numerous civilian casualties, including children, were strongly and collectively condemned. Of course, we take note of various signals and assessments from political figures in different countries regarding what BRICS is and how BRICS operates. Naturally, we closely and carefully monitor the public statements made by the American administration and its officials. The BRICS group is certainly not an anti-American organization, and there is absolutely nothing within the comprehensive BRICS agenda that inherently contains any anti-American element whatsoever. We call things by their proper names when there is a clear encroachment by Washington on a whole range of important elements of international law, as happened with the unprovoked missile and bomb strike on nuclear infrastructure facilities under IAEA guarantees located in Iran. In such cases, we call things what they are, and that is exactly what we did. There is nothing here beyond what can be described as a factual statement. This is exactly how it is reflected in the declaration of the summit in Rio de Janeiro. And tariff wars, negotiations on tariffs, duties, trade conditions, and so on should be considered. And this is also happening on a bilateral basis between the states that become the targets of such actions by the United States or associations of states. I believe this should take place through normal, calm dialogue, and compromises and solutions should be found. This is what we are calling on the American side to do. But the language of threats, the language of manipulation, if you will, regarding what is happening or not happening, including within the BRICS platform, is not the kind of language that should be used when speaking with members of this association. We are currently engaged in the most comprehensive and intensive dialogue possible with all relevant and interested parties, encompassing every single side and stakeholder deeply involved in this complex and evolving situation, ensuring all perspectives are thoroughly considered. It's not just Iran, it's also the United States. You have seen, I am sure, what Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov reported following his meeting today with Secretary of State Mark Rubio. The Iranian issue was also discussed there. We are in contact with the IAEA on these matters, but I would not call this a mediating role. Our role is broader than just that of a mediator. We don't just provide some good offices and relay messages from one side to the other. That happens as well, but that's not the main thing. The main thing is our contribution to stabilizing the situation by helping to find solutions. We see how difficult it is for Western countries to part with their accustomed position as dominant powers, dominant factors in associations that by and large are supposed to be universal. The attempts by Westerners to privatize international organizations are not subsiding, but only intensifying. We will oppose these. And in the sphere of international economics, trade and finance, the transformation of the Bretton Woods institutions, the reform of the World Trade Organization, in other words, the reform of those segments of the international system that were established decades ago, proceeding far too slowly, and BRICS is raising its voice. Read the final declaration, listen to what the leaders of the BRICS countries are saying on this topic. The global majority will demand and will achieve changes, the recognition of the shift in power that has already occurred and continues to occur in international affairs in their favor. There is no slowdown in the advancement of the US on the bilateral agenda. There is a technical pause. I think we will soon decide on the timing of the third round of consultations, where these purely bilateral issues, also known as irritants, as they are commonly called, will be discussed, as has been the case for some time now. If we take the BRICS agenda and the reaction of official Washington to the summit in Rio, this, of course, among other things, reflects the United States' recognition that BRICS is a real factor in international affairs. But once again, there is nothing anti-American about BRICS. There is something non-American, just as we used to say, there is nothing anti-Western. BRICS is not anti-West, it is not the West. This is what needs to be understood. And tariffs, duties, and so on, they need to be discussed, as the Americans themselves would say, in the appropriate forums, meaning where it is appropriate, without mixing unrelated topics into work on other issues.